Hey people, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the Metal Tag of 2024. This is a response video. This is a thing that apparently goes on every year or so. It's been going on for a few years now. People jump on board and we get asked 20 questions in regards to heavy metal music, heavy metal albums, and it's fun to just sort of get put on the spot to be like, hey, what's an album you've got that represents this? And it's very much like, oh, I don't know, let's go see. So yeah, we've got 20 questions to get through. This was done by the metal, how do you say it? Metallurgically, that person, you know the one, yeah. So props to him for making this one this year. So without further ado, I reckon we just get straight into it. Like I said, we've got 20 questions to get through, so let's kick it off with question 1, which is name a 2024 release you're eagerly anticipating. Now, I could immediately think of 2, but I did do some research prior to this question just to really make sure I knew what I was talking about. So there's mainly 2 that I'm hanging out for, and one is the Bruce Dickinson solo project, the Mandrake project, I should say. I heard the Afterglow of Ragnarok and I thought that was awesome. You know me, I'm the die-hard Maiden fan, so I was like, do you know what? A Bruce Dickinson album would be pretty awesome. After the Glow of Ragnarok was pretty awesome, so if the rest of the album sounds like that, that's going to be great. But also the other weird little one that I'm excited for is the new Alestorm EP. What's it called? Voyage of the Dead Marauder. It's an EP, so it's like, I think it's 6 tracks maybe, at the most, maybe even 4, I'm not sure. But I'm a massive Alestorm fan. I love pirate metal, so I'm excited to hear that, because their last offering, Seventh Rum of a Seventh Rum, given the title of an obvious piss take of something else, that was a bit silly, but I weirdly feel good about this little EP. I don't know why. I just always give them so much hope and so much praise that their next album or work of art is going to be pretty amazing. And so yeah, maybe I just like the name, the Voyage of the Dead Marauder. That sounds so cool. So yeah, those are my 2 most anticipated releases for 2024. Next question. 2024 is the year of the dragon. Now that's pretty metal in itself. Show off an album either inspired or containing dragons on the cover. So I quickly jotted down all these questions, so if they're a little bit different in terms of wording, I apologize, but you get the gist. Show an album that's either inspired or contains dragons. I actually had to look until I remembered, oh yeah, I've got CDs as well. And weirdly enough, these guys have dragon in their name. And but there's only 2 albums that actually have dragons on the cover. So we're gonna go with Dragon Forces. I think it's 2017, 16 or 17, I can't remember. Does it tell me on here? Does it tell me on here? Yep, 2017's Reaching into Infinity. I could have shown their last album, which is Extreme Power Metal, which has another dragon on it, but that one is a bit, I generally do not like that album. So this one's got a metallic metal looking type of dragon. Obviously this is Dragon Force. We all know them as the Through the Fire and Flames, Fury of the Storm, Extreme Power Metal gods. And this is probably the first album in their catalog where things start to get a bit weird. You changed singers in 2012. They came out with The Power Within, and then they did Maximum Overload, which was very, very good. Maximum Overload is probably my favorite, but then this one came out, I think if I've got it right, this one came out, and this is where it starts to get experimental. This isn't typical Through the Fire and Flames, Through the Fury of the Storm stuff, but there are some good songs on here. Reaching to Infinity was great, cute little intro track. Ashes of the Dawn I thought was fun, but what really makes this album kind of stand out is the epic Edge of the World. It's the long song. It's like 12 minutes, 11 minutes, I think. It's really, really great. It's all sorts of, it's typical Dragon Force. There's a bit of Maiden in there. There's death metal growls. It's really cool. That's a cool song, The Edge of the World. I highly recommend you listen to that. But yeah, that's my dragon-inspired album, Dragon Force, Reaching into Infinity. Question 3. Favorite album you acquired in 2023. So this doesn't necessarily mean a brand new release from 2023. This is just a brand new album that an album that you picked up last year. And for me, I'm going to go with my top album of 2022. I didn't buy it until 6 months later because I just didn't think it'd be available in this country until I saw it available somewhere. Visions of Atlantis Pirates. I'm starting to see a bit of a theme here. Yes, I do love power metal and I love symphonic metal too, so you probably see a lot of the same style of music. But yeah, this is one of my more played albums of the last 6 months since I picked it up. If you like Nightwish, if you like Alestorm, this is pretty much the love child of those 2 bands. It's beautifully sung with beautiful female and male vocals, so it's not so like Alestorm do, but Obviously with an album named like Pirates, you can tell what it's about. Pirates Will Return. Melancholy Angel, Master the Hurricane is a fantastic song. That's like the epic of this album. It's 7 minutes. Freedom is beautiful, which is like this love story between a prisoner and a lady. It's really good. It's beautifully put together. Legion of the Seas is fun. Wild Elysium is great. Honestly, the whole band sounds amazing on here. It's pretty damn good. If you haven't heard it, I would recommend you go check it out. It cracks me up when albums get released onto LPs, right? Double LPs, shall we say? But then they only give us 3 sides of music. It's like, what a waste of a side. Put some live stuff on there or whatever. But yeah, that's easily my favorite album of 2023 that I picked up. Visions of Atlantis, Pirates. Right, question 4. What was there a title in 2023 that I was satisfied to purchase digitally? And you know, if not on physical media, and if so, why? Well, guess what? I won't lie to you. I picked up nothing digitally. I'm lucky to get stuff on physical copy in this damn country, so I'm probably just gonna have to brush over that question. I bought nothing digitally. Compared to others, I bought a pathetic amount of physical albums last year. It's because they're so fucking dear in this country. But hey, excuses, right? So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pass over that question. I didn't buy anything digitally. So moving on. Question 5. Show an album that musically doesn't match the album cover. Now, I kind of had to question this one as well, but in the end, I just went with one of the worst album covers I've ever seen, and that is Black Sabbath's Sabotage. Yeah, it's a bit of a cliche in terms of bad albums, but like, you know, a lot of the albums that I have, they are metal album covers. So yeah, this one is just a bit of a joke amongst the heavy metal fans. I mean, it's probably, is it Sabbath's heaviest album up to this point? Not really. I think Master of Reality is the heaviest album in their early stuff anyway, when they started to experiment with doom metal and whatnot. But however, this one is damn heavy and it's still damn good. Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe, that's amazing. Am I Going Insane is a fun song as well. Megalomania, just, there's some really, really great stuff on this album. But yeah, unfortunately, the album cover is a bit of a joke, and apparently they weren't aware that said album cover was being taken. So I don't know if they were given the photo and like given the album with the cover on it, or they were being told, hey, this is going to go on the album later. I don't know. But yeah, it's a terrible cover, but it's a fantastic album. Black Sabbath Sabotage. Question 6. Is there a metal artist? What is a metal artist that I own most things by? Well, I can tell you immediately without thinking. That will be Iron Maiden. I have a lot of Maiden stuff, including a lot of, like, I have all the LPs minus Brave New World, and I have all the studios minus Brave New World. I don't have any live LPs, but I do have all the studio CDs, and I do have the likes of Rock in Rio on CD and Live at Dongington and a Real Live Dead one, and there's another one, I think. I've got compilations, I've got Somewhere Back in Time, I've got From Fear to Eternity, or whatever that one's called, you know. Did I say Rock in Rio? Death on the Road, stuff like that. I've got DVDs of them, you know. It's just absolutely fantastic. And just to kind of prove, yeah, so not to prove it, but like, so yeah, so there's Live After Death, the LP, which is fantastic. I've then got Live After Death on CD, which is also fun. I've got the Live After Death DVD performance, which is absolutely fantastic, one of the top tier Maiden performances ever. I've also got Live After Death on fucking shorts, so I don't know if that counts, but that's just another fun little thing to add to fun little thing to add to the Maiden collection. So yeah, easily Iron Maiden are the biggest artist that I own stuff by. Posters and whatnot, shirts and everything. So yeah. Question 8 or 7. Question 7, sorry. Show an album you blind bought in 2023. Now, again, I'm gonna have to skip this question because, as I said before, LPs in this country, New Zealand, are goddamn expensive. And me not being a millionaire, I can't exactly afford to blind buy in case it sucks. I'm paying like $70 plus for an LP sometimes, so I really need to know that it's good before I buy it. I did a lot of, you know, blind listening or whatever due to people's recommendations, but in terms of blind buying, no, not even secondhand stuff is cheap enough to buy here. So unfortunately, nothing. That's just how it is. Number 8, show a title that you own on more than one format. Now I could have shown all you the Life After Death stuff, but there's a few mentions of Maiden in this video, so I thought we'll try to keep it down to as minimal Maiden as possible. So for this one, I've chosen Death's Leprosy. I have this one on, obviously, LP. I have it on, sorry, I should have got it first. I also have it on CD, obviously, naturally, and then just for fun as well, I probably should have put it, just for fun, I should have put it on, but I've also got Leprosy on a shirt, so like, does that really count? I don't know, but it just, again, it just adds to the numbers of formats that we've got. So yeah, Leprosy on shirt, CD, and LP. One of the greatest death metal albums of all time. Death, Leprosy. Now this one generally kind of worried me when I read the question. Show off an album, show off a release that is conceptually inspired by literature. I was like, oh my God, what have I got that's inspired by books? I went through everything and then I was like, good God. And then right at the bottom of my CD shelf, I found this. The life and, what's it called? Music inspired by the life and times of Scrooge McDuck. Music and written and produced by Thomas Holopainen, however you say his name, Holopainen. This is the Nightwish keyboard and founder guy. In 2011, I'm pretty sure. This is 2014, sorry. He did a solo project, you could say, and he wrote a orchestral soundtrack album to one of his favorite books of all time, little children's comic, and that is obviously The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. Just a comic book story about Scrooge going all through his life, and honestly, I won't lie to you, it's amazing. This was re-released on an LP a few years ago, and I unfortunately didn't manage to nab a copy, but I was so annoyed about that. But so Glasgow 1877 is a fantastic opener. I haven't read Scrooge McDuck, but I really want to, and just to kind of put this on and read it as I go, because I just imagine it would really enhance the story. Yeah, Glasgow 1877 is fantastic. Into the West, Dreamtime, Goodbye Papa, Sad, Cold Wind of the Klondike. Like I say, this album is 100% orchestra. There's nothing heavy metal about it whatsoever. The only song, you could say, is track 9, A Lifetime of Adventure. That's like the singlest song, and the last sled as well. But like I say, it's pure orchestra, and it's honestly the most beautifulest thing I've ever listened to. So yeah, that is my conceptually literature album, The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. Question 10, name a band that I would travel a great distance to see. Now, again, because New Zealand is the way that it is, bands normally only go to 2 places. That is either Auckland, which is all the way up the top of the North Island, it's the biggest city, or, and because New Zealand is broken into 2 islands, you then have the bands travel to the South Island, and normally they go to Christchurch, or Dunedin, depending on where they want to go. But anyway, I am pretty much bang smack in the middle of both those cities. So I could go to Auckland, which is an 8-hour drive or an hour's flight, but fuck flying, because then you have to deal with cars and traffic or whatnot. Whereas if you drive, you can just kind of drive to where you need to go and then stay there. Down south is down in Christchurch, which is again a flight or a boat ride and a car ride. So that's another, it's honestly, going away to see a band is such a mission in this country. I'm gonna see Maiden in September. I've taken about 4 days off for it, just cause. But anyway, so I have to travel to see anybody regardless, anyone who's big. Mayhem did come to Wellington. The closest place that we go to for international acts is Wellington, which is 2 hours away, and that's the capital city. But even when they play in Wellington, they're just playing in little clubs and whatnot. But anyway, I'm distracting. Out of all my top 5 favorites, you could say the one that I have yet to see is Dream Theater. I haven't seen them yet, and I would love to. I've seen Maiden, I've seen Ailstorm, I've seen Nightwish, I've seen Rhapsody, and Dream Theater is my last top 5. So I would travel to great distance to see them. Would I go to Australia to see them? Possibly, if it was like one night only in Sydney, maybe, if I had money. So I've done that before. I flew to Australia to watch Rhapsody. That was amazing. But yeah, the answer to that question is Dream Theater. Question 11. Show a 2023 release you enthusiastically purchased, but then eventually lost interest in. Now, this one, it was pretty dead set because I haven't bought too many brand new 2023 albums, and the ones I have bought, I've been excited about and kept listening to. However, this one, I've probably only played it twice. 72 Seasons. Of course, I was naturally excited for a new Metallica album. I don't hate 21st century Metallica, but I don't love it either. Hardwired is probably the best 21st century made Metallica album, and this one, compared to that, was just a bit ugh. All the solos are the same. The songs are kind of boring. The best song on here, in my opinion, is probably, I really like Crown of Barbed Wire and the title track, and that's about it. Too Far Gone's pretty cool, but the likes of, you know, Shadows Follow, Screaming Suicide, You Must Burn, If Darkness Had a Sun is a terrible song. I'm sorry, it is. Room of Mirrors is okay, but like, yeah, I've played it twice to the point where I would forget that I've got it if it wasn't so fucking bright. Like, what is this album cover as well? I mean, like, I won't say it doesn't match the music, but it's just like, what? It's such an obnoxious album cover as well. It's so just, yeah. So I'll probably play it again at some point in time, but yeah, it's definitely not a Metallica album that I go back to much often. I'd much rather play Hardwired instead of this. But yeah, so that's my least enthused album from 23, 72 Seasons. Name an artist, question 12, name an artist you feel can do no wrong. In terms of like band artists and whatnot, I'm gonna have to go with Gloryhammer. Again, more power metal, I know, but like, I just have a sweet spot for power metal, especially conceptual album type stuff. This stuff, symphonic power metal, is just absolutely fantastic. Gloryhammer, they were a parody of the genre, but honestly, everything they do, I just love. Every song since album 1, every song that I heard, I've fallen in love with on first listen. However, this album did take a little while to get used to, but now it's definitely top shelf, in my opinion. It's just as good as albums 2 and 3, honestly. This album here is their latest one, Return to the Kingdom of Fife, which was another great album from last year, I might add. But yeah, honestly, they got rid of the singer and replaced him, and honestly, the new singer does fine. Everything they do, I think, is just fun, it's silly, it's better than it's silly, but it's not as silly as like Alestorm silly, do you know what I mean? It's still conceptual and it still flows within the story means, I guess, and it's just fun. I love their band, I love the music, everything about it is great. You could say they're solely inspiring me to do the sort of same thing. My next album is hopefully going to be a conceptual fantasy story. Just one album though. These guys are obviously telling one story across several albums. I'm just going to do it once, but yeah, band that could do no wrong, easily, Gloryhammer. They're just fun, silly, but still heavy as, still metal as. Yeah. Number 13, name a band that should have quit while they're ahead. The one that I immediately thought of, not that I listen too much of them, especially anymore, they're probably the biggest gateway band of all time, and that is Guns N' Roses. I mean, like I said, Slash is probably every guitar player's first idol until they discover that he's just a glorified blues player. But honestly, they literally put out one of the best debut albums ever. Appetite for Destruction is highly regarded as one of the best hard rock albums of all time. It still is, even nearly 40 years later. I love it. I think it's amazing. But like I say, it's incredibly gateway to us heavy metal fans. However, everything after that kind of, nothing matched the energy. Do you know what I mean? You got Appetite, and then you've got the Use Your Illusions, which are okay, but obviously it's 1990 by that point, so even music has slowed down. But then everything after Use Your Illusion was just like, I haven't even heard half of it, but I can just guarantee that Chinese Democracy and the Spaghetti Incident and whatever else, you know, it's just, they're purely, when you hear the word Guns N' Roses, you immediately think of Appetite for Destruction, Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child, Brownstone, all that good stuff. So yeah, they should have just either broken up after Use Your Illusion and just gone on to do other things, in my opinion. So yeah. Number 14, show a release you bought as a direct result of someone's YouTube channel. This will be the album that I was just playing this morning. Catatonia's Sky Void of Stars. I've never listened to Catatonia before. However, right now I'm in the middle of ranking them. I'm going through all their discography. This album was great. When I heard the Thrills of Metal talk about it. I saw it pop up on a lot of end of year lists. So I was like, maybe I should give it a go. And to be honest, it's fantastic. It's such a fun album. They're a fun band. If you like dark, gloomy, slower stuff, which I was which I'm eating up at the moment. I was like, yep, that's a bit of me. This album is pretty damn good. I just spun it before. It's so much fun. Austerity is probably my favorite song. Colossal Share is great. Opaline is amazing. Honestly, it's not as dark and depressive as other Katatonia albums. It's nothing like doom metal, like proper death doom metal, but it's still very good. And like I say, I saw a lot of people kept recommending this one. So yeah, that's my YouTube album thing. Katatonia, Sky Void of Stars. Number 15, show us a good album that suffers from being too long. Easily, one that immediately comes to mind is the 4th album from Canadian doom metal band Woods of Ypres. This is the Green album, Woods 4, the Green album is its full name. This is a fantastic album. If you like doom, if you like slower, dark, black metal, depressive, it's not depressive black metal, it's, how do you describe it? It's doom, black and doom, I think, is a better way, because there's elements of both. There's elements of slower doom, clean singing, and then there's harsh black metal moments. It's honestly so beautiful, but my favorite has to be Woods 5, but we'll talk about that in another video. This is Woods 4. How long is it? It's 4 sides. It's about 15 tracks, I think. It's so ridiculous. I don't know the actual length of it, but listening to it does take a mission. Again, I could have chosen a lot of other stuff. I nearly was going to show The Astonishing by Dream Theater, but I already mentioned Dream Theater. I could have shown Senjutsu, but it's another Maiden one, so I was like, we'll get rid of that. So yeah, this is fun. It drags on a bit. By the time you get to side C, you are starting to think, like, hurry up, you guys. I don't know if this cracks an hour. It probably cracks an hour, but like, and because it's doom, it feels a lot longer than it is. So yeah, but nonetheless, it's actually so good. It's ranked, I rank it at number 2 as my favorite Woods album. So yeah, Shards of Love is great. This album's about David Gold, the singer, went through a terrible breakup, and this is just a really self-reflective album about all his life experiences and what he did to get over it, pretty much. Everything I touch turns to gold. By the time you read this, I will be dead. I was buried in Mount Pleasant Cemetery. Dirty Window of Opportunity. Honestly, it's such a good album. If you haven't heard Woods of Ypres, I highly recommend you listen to it. But yeah, that's my longest album recommendation, you could say. Number 16, nearly done. Show your favorite band t-shirt. Now, obviously, we had to go with Iron Maiden. Again, I have a few Iron Maiden tops. That's going to be another video, by the way, all my Iron Maiden shirts. And because I love the debut so much, when I saw this hanging in the warehouse of, that's just what it's called, the warehouse, it's like a Kmart, Walmart type of shop, but a bit better. I just had to buy it. I was like, oh my God, it's the debut album, just chilling on a shirt. It was like $10, $15 as well. So I was like, cool, I should have bought 2 of them. But honestly, this is easily my favorite Maiden top. I wear this so much to the point where I should probably stop wearing it as often as I do, otherwise I'm going to ruin the image. I'm going to be wearing this to the show because I just love the debut so much, so the fact that it exists on a shirt is fantastic. So yeah, that was a no-brainer. That's my favorite band shirt. Number 17, show us a band that has been around for at least 24 years that is still going strong and creatively relative. It took me a second to be like, 24 years, wow, that's a long time. And then I realized, wait a minute, that's just everything before the year 2000. Let that sink in. What does it want now? So the first band, I hummed and hawed, and then I was like, do you know what? Probably the most famous and most consecutive death metal band of all time. I'm just gonna show my favorite because I don't have their recentest album, Cannibal. They've been around for like nearly 30 years. Is it 30? When did the first album come out? 1990? So yeah, they're more than 30 years. And I feel like every album that they do is just, you know, a step up from the previous one, you could say. However, you know, you have the Chris Barnes era, Tomb of the Mutilated, Eaten Back to Life, Butchered at Birth, The Bleeding, and then you get George Corpse Grinder's Vile to everything else. But like even the 21st century ones, like Torture, Kill, Red Before Black, Violence Unimagined, and now Chaos Horrific, that, like, they're doing great. They all sound cool, and especially now that they've got Rick Rubin in the band, it's just kind of like, it's just like, okay, cool. Like, they're not slowing down. They're still making great death metal. Like, they're one of the famous death metal names. So yeah, that's in a way a no-brainer, easily. Cannibal. And if you haven't heard Tomb of the Mutilated and you want to get into Cannibal, I get into this one. This is easily one of the best albums. But yeah, creative band, Cannibal Corpse. Number 18, who's your favorite band mascot? Do I need to say at this point? Every video I've watched, I have yet to see someone else mention a different mascot. Obviously, the bro, Eddie. I mean, come on. Name a more iconic mascot who's been through every design ever. You know, he's been a man, he's been dead, he's been an Egyptian pyramid, he's been a cyborg, he's been a Japanese warrior, he went to war. What else? He's been a face in the clouds. He's been lobotomized. You know, he's done everything. Honestly, he's just iconic. So yeah. Oh, this will be fun. Show an album from your collection with no peeking. Now we're going to cut the video, and I'm just going to show you my albums. Okay, so there's all my albums. Keep in mind that a small chunk of them are down here because I pulled them out for the video. So we're just gonna do this. Ta-da! Obituary, slowly we rot. We'll just do it standing here. What more do you need? Earlier Florida death metal, just absolutely at its most blitzkrieg, I feel. It's a very, very quick album. There's like 3, 6, 7. There's like 13 songs on here. They just all fly by. So if you're a fan of Cannibal, if you're a fan of Death and Deicide and all that other stuff, excuse me, check out Obituary. This one's iconic. It's a must-have. Honestly, it's pretty damn good. Obituary, slowly we rot. Very brutal. Cool. And then the last one, show an album that others might not think, show a metal album where others might not think is metal. Now, I have a few metal albums. I don't really buy much more, so I was a bit stumped at first. And I saw that Levi, Thrashmaniac 99, if that's correct, I'm sorry if that's wrong, he pulled out Load, and I was like, oh, that's a good one. So just going through, which is pretty much true, I enjoy Load too, much more than Reload. But anyway, I wasn't going to show that, so I pulled out Van Halen 1. Loosely, do you know what I mean? I've heard some people say it's a bit too upbeat for a metal album. The only thing that makes it metal is obviously Eddie's playing, and you're rightly so, but come on, you can't deny this is metal. This is as metal as Black Sabbath. Yeah, some of the songs are like very, you know, upbeat and very funky. Like for example, like Jamie's Crying, that's a really fun song. I think it's great. Ain't Talking About Love, Atomic Punk, that's cool. All these weird little songs. You could say, like, you could argue that the most metal thing about this album is Eruption. Without that, you've just got a flash guitar player. It's that 80s pop metal, you know what I mean? It's great fun. Some people, you know, Eddie Van Halen was a fantastic guitar player. Nonetheless, we all know it, I don't need to say it. But yeah, some people might not consider this as metal as others, but for me, it's definitely up there. So yeah, Van Halen 1. If that was cool, Van Halen self-titled. And there we have it, team. There is my response for the Metal Tag 2024. Let me know down below any answers you might have to these questions if you're not the one to make a video response. But if you are, please jump on board and get amongst this awesome little community thing. Hopefully my answers were, you know, up to your standard. Let me know if you can think of anything better. But yeah, probably the last time I'll say this, guys. Happy New Year. Happy 2024, and yeah, now that New Year's done and we're all back to work, gonna get more videos out, definitely, now that everyone's flowing back into the structure. So yeah, like I said, I'm in the middle of ranking Catatonia, and I did mention that I'm gonna do a Maiden t-shirt video, so keep an eye out for those. But like always, until that happens, everybody, stay inside, stay safe, listen to metal, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you later.